Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about custom events using JavaScript. As you know from previous classes, an event is an asynchronous activity that involves two components, an object that is dispatching the event and an object that is actively listening for that event. Now in JavaScript there's a catch. You can only dispatch events and listen for events on a DOM element or the document itself. You can't just create a generic object and have that object have the ability to dispatch or listen for events. So notice the code that we have here. The event listener is on the document, and the document is also dispatching the event. Another thing to keep in mind because of the asynchronous nature of events is to make sure the add event listener line of code executes prior to the line of code that dispatches that same event. Just like we have here, line 3 listens for the phone ringing event, and line 4 actually dispatches that event. So I'm going to go ahead and explain the code a little further. On line 4, we're dispatching an event, and the event we are dispatching is a custom event, and we named it phone ringing. You can call that event whatever you want as long as it's a string. So we dispatch a phone ringing event, and on the same object, the document, we're listening for that event. So when this event occurs, the phone ringing event, this onDone function will execute. This is called the event handler or the callback function. Now you might be thinking at this moment, what is this E argument in the onDone event handler? Well, when it comes to events, there's this information that is associated with events that gets included with the event when the event gets dispatched. Think of it as this free information associated with that particular event. Use it, don't use it, is entirely up to you. In fact, you don't even need to put that in there. Now keep in mind, if you don't have it in there and you try to access that event data or DTO, data transfer object, it's not going to happen. So it's always a good habit to go ahead and put that in the event handler, even though you may not actually use it. I'm going to go ahead and run this now and notice what happens in the console. There's the word done, and there's the actual DTO, the data transfer object, or that E argument in your done event handler. Notice there's not much there. It has the name of the event, the target, and so forth. A lot of this stuff you can use, a lot of this stuff is useless. But at least it's there, and it's free information related to that particular event. And again, in this case, that particular event is a custom event shown here, and then the phone ringing is the actual name of that event. To help explain this further, what I want to do is set up an add event listener on a click event, and then go ahead and console the same information and see what it does. So let's go to our code. I'm going to go ahead and insert an add event listener on the button. So we have a click event, and this is the callback function, the onDone. Notice it's the same. That's totally legal. So this function is going to run twice. When the page loads, it's going to run immediately. So it's going to log done in that basic phone ringing event, and it's also going to run when I click on that button that you saw in the browser. Let's refresh this and clear this out. Now notice what we have first, just a phone ringing event like you saw before, but of course that's what you're going to say. I haven't clicked on anything yet. Now as soon as I click on this button, it's going to run the onDone method again. Again, here's our code. When you click on the button, run that function, and it's going to console log done, and it's going to console log E. But in this case, the event is different. It's a click event, not a phone ringing event. So the E stuff of that free information related to that particular event, hopefully, we'll have some different result. I'll go back to the browser, refresh, and click on the button, and there's our done. So that's proving it's the same method there. But now look at the difference. Instead of event, it's a mouse event. This is a built-in event. This is not a custom event. Now look at all this information related to the event. Compare that to the event right above, the custom event phone ringing. There's nothing there because it's custom. We didn't build anything. But the mouse event has a lot of free information associated with it. We have the cursor location relative to where you clicked on the actual object, the button itself. We have the cursor location relative to the upper left-hand corner. We have a lot of information. But it's information related to this event, which is a mouse event. So that's what the DTO is. That is what that argument is in your event handler.